when we were there, we followed the same tradition. It is still followed because they have been trained in such a way, and they are able to feed you information comfortably. They are able to comfort you in all respect. So you are lucky enough. You are really blessed. And coming to the subject, you are really lucky enough to choose the subject called linguistic science. You know that different science or different subjects are there. Ignoring all those subjects, you have chosen the subject called linguistics. It is really wonderful choice, and it has got its own charm. It has got its own charm. This charm will satisfy you in all respect, and not only to develop knowledge, but also to make you as a breadwinner of your family. You could make money, or rather milk money, by exploiting the talent what you are going to get from this department. So such a way, the subject called linguistics is wonderful subject you have chosen. You first of all try to love the subject called linguistics. Linguistics is not ordinary subject. Ordinary subject. Of course, it is an enigmatic subject. It is very hard to understand. I don't what you call warn you rather. If you take more effort, you will enrich your understanding over the linguistic subject. Though it is enigmatic, though it is a hard subject, and you can easily acquire by holding hands up the faculty members available in it. If you follow the footsteps of those people, if you emulate those people's advice, you will certainly enrich your understanding over the linguistic science. So linguistics, any knowledge for that matter is very much helpful. Not only the linguistic side, any knowledge acquisition is one of the important prerequisites for human life. And we are living in the knowledge era. Any knowledge will be helpful for us. And of course, when we were studying, we have never dreamt that we are going to see a person, we are going to interact with a person, seeing his face, who is there in America. Being in India, I have never dreamt that I am going to see a person who is there in America using this type of virtual reality or augmented reality. We could interact. This is a totally new invention. We have never dreamt of, even never thought about all those things. So because people have developed, acquired knowledge, in turn they have come up with different ideas, and they come up with flying colors in identifying certain things. So mobile phone or internet or Google chat, anything is possible, you see, because of the knowledge acquisition. So different knowledges are different types of knowledge are there in our world. And the language oriented knowledge, you have chosen the field called, you want to acquire language related knowledge. You know that linguistics is nothing but a science which scientifically studies the language, human language. There are different languages, but human language, you are going to study only the human language. I'm not going to touch upon the technical aspects of linguistics science. I will be peripherally touching upon I will be giving you an elementary explanation over the language concept, what you are going to study. So during the 45 minutes, I will be sparing my time to peripherally touch upon certain basic elements of the language elements. You are going to generate, you are going to have, your teachers will be teaching all those things. And of course, there's a language knowledge. People always, some people will be studying about the what you call tree or plants. Some people will be studying about the what we call sand or soil. Some people will be studying about the animal. But you are going to study the human being and their language. The language and human being cannot be separated. Language and human being cannot be separated. So we use language, whether we are beggar or banker or savage or civilized, we use the language. The language, the linguistic science is going to study, you are going to study the language components, language elements, language related components. So linguistics is a scientific study of human languages. So you are really lucky enough when other people are studying about the plant, about other people are studying about the animal, other people are studying about the sand and soil. You are going to study human being and their linguistic behavior. So usually you are superior than other people because you are talking, you are thinking, or you are discussing about what you call language component. You are going to research on language component. So you are, in a way, in all respects, you are superior than other people. The other people will be, after all, studying what you call sand or animal or plants, but you are going to study the language and human beings language or human language. So the language, you know that you have been using the language. You have been using the language. You and I have been using the language for all respects, for all purposes. And it is very much essential to know what is language, what are all the components of language. You could understand all those things in the name of linguistic science. And of course, without language, it is not at all possible to even think. It is without language, it is not at all possible to dream. Without language, it is not at all possible to sell our product. Without language, it is not at all possible to buy a product. Without language, it is not at all possible to express our love. Without language, it is not at all possible to express our rage. When our blood is going up, we have to scold others, for which we need to language. To express our own hate or love, we need to have language. And even for thinking purposes, we need to have languages. And from morning bed to this occasion, you might have used languages. In those occasions, you have used the language. If you don't have the language, you may not be in a position to perform all those social activities. So language plays very vital role in our life. There are 5 important functions a language does. For example, one is informative function. Informative function, in the sense, language is used for informing a message. I'm trying to inform a message using a language. That's called informative function. This is one function. Then another is expressive function. I want to express my feeling after seeing you all in this platform. So, oh, what a beautiful students, what a handsome students. I'm expressing what a brainy students. I'm expressing my feeling. So expressive function, just to inform a message, I handle a language, and to express my feeling, I employ my language. And similarly, evocative function. Evocative function in the sense, my dear students, please take a note. If I say, you will be taking a note. So I am instigating you to do an activity using the language. I am employing a language to do an activity. I am employing a language to direct you to do an activity, to advise you or to request you to do an activity. So in that respect, I am employing the language. This is called evocative function. Then another interesting function is evaluative. You see, by saying that you are telling me something, I say whether it's right or wrong, or good or bad. So I am evaluating what is good, what is right, what is wrong, what is not right. So all those things will be decided or communicated using my own language. So evaluative function. And final one is performative function. Performative function in the sense, I am performing an activity, parallelly I will be using a language. You understand that? So in an English Christian marriages, holding a hand of life mat, people say, I hereby declare that I treat her as my life mat, or treat him as a life mat. A declaration. Or when you sell a land, you will be writing a document that I hereby declare that this property hereafter is a property of somebody else. So we are declaring that. So I am performing an activity as well as using the language. So I am lecturing, I am using the language. I am lecturing is a performance. I am using the language. So this is performative address. So informative, evaluative, expressive, evocative, and performative. So these are all 5 important. Any language, whether it's a tribal language or developed language or sophisticated language, this all these languages will be used for these 5 important functions. So, and of course, we need to use our language for these purposes. So all those things could be studied in terms of the linguistic science. You will be studying all these functions. And of course, the human language, I already told you that the linguists are the people they are going to study. Now, you have to understand the difference between linguist and grammarian. So you are not going to be a grammarian after acquiring PG in linguistic science. Of course, you are going to be a linguist. If you refer to the dictionary will tell you that linguist in the sense a person who knows more than one language. It's called polyglot, Polyglot, polyglot. Polyglot is a person who knows more than one language, who is able to read and write in different languages, who is able to speak and listen in different languages. We got polyglot. But the original meaning of the word called linguist, it was polyglot. But nowadays, the trend has been changed. Now you can, the meaning of the word called linguist is changed as a person who has got scientific understanding over the language. Whoever is able to understand the language scientifically, who will be designated as linguist. So linguists are different from grammarians. Grammarians are the people who write grammar for their own language. Whereas linguists are the people, they will also write grammar for various languages, different languages. It is not necessary to write grammar for my own mother tongue. Being a linguist, I can write grammar for my own language. At the same time, I am able to write grammar for different languages, whether it is a tribal language or minor language or minority languages. I am able to write grammar for all those languages. Such a way, a linguist is trained. And you are going to be trained in such a way to do linguistics after learning linguistics. To do linguistics by writing grammar or by introducing writing system to an unwritten language. And so you will be trained in a way. So the linguists are different from grammarian, and linguists are not the polyglot. It is not necessary to be a multilingual. He can be a monolingual or bilingual, but he can understand the system of languages, how language works, how language functions. There are 3 perspectives: functional perspective, formative perspective, and cognitive perspective. In the field of linguistics, we will look at the language as a formalist, in the sense how a linguistic form is designed, how a linguistic form is engineered by human being. Of course, language is after all a social product. You and I have not produced it. Our grandparents have produced a language with which we are able to survive in our society. So this has been designed by many number of people. Now we are trying to understand how it is designed, how words are framed, how our sentences are. I will be talking about this. So the human language, socially produced language, will be studied by the group of people called linguists like us. And you are going to study the human languages. Human language is different from non-human language. For example, the animal communication, animal has also got a communication mode, and the human being also got some human communication mode. There may be some differences. And animal has got a little amount of sounds. It is capable. A dog can produce nearly 20 or 15 sounds. 15 words like sounds. But we people, human beings, have created limited number of sounds, but we are able to amalgamate, we are able to permute the different sounds in different combination. Thereby, we'll have different number of vocabularies, different number of sentences, different number of phrases. And those things could be converted into different forms. So this is the human language productivity. The productivity of the human language is something unique, whereas the animal communication does not have such a productivity. They will produce one sound for one meaning. They will not modify that sound. Another sound for another meaning. Whereas we produce one sound with one more sound will have one meaning. And by combining two different sounds, we'll have another meaning. We'll have three combinations, we'll have another meaning. Such a productivity is there with our human language. So we are going to study that. So the language, human language has got a lot of features. Hockett, you have to get a book called Hockett book, a modern course in linguistics. This book will be a Bible for you people. A young budding linguist must buy this book called Bible of Linguistics, called A Modern Course in Linguistics by Charles Hockett. Okay, C.F. Hockett. This book, he has identified some designed features. Certain features have been designed by human beings. There are so many features he has listed out. I will be telling you 4 or 5 features with which you will look at the language. No, so far you have been using the language as a language user. But after entering into the field of linguistics science, you have to look at your own language, other language in totally different perspective. Totally in different perspectives. So you are not going to look at the language as an ordinary or layman. Rather, you are going to be an expert in the field of language. And then you will be looking at everybody's speech in a different fashion. You will understand how they employ the language. What are the problems they have encountered? And what are the hurdles they experience? All those things you could easily capture. Such a way, our faculty members will train you how to capture other language, how to find fault with other people's speech, what are the merits, what make them to deviate from other people, how do you identify the idiosyncratic features of every language user, how do we identify a group language elements of language used by a group of people living in a particular pocket. All these things could be studied in the linguistic side. So the human languages have got certain qualities. For example, negation, the negation, negative forms, conversion of positive form into negative form. I know, I don't know. Okay, I want, I don't want. I want not. Okay, this type of negation is possible only with human language. Whereas now animal communication, a dog will bark like off, but you will not bark off not, you will not create. So this type of negation is possible only in the human language. And similarly, questioning. Do you know? If I say, no, do you know? I know, do you know? The converse statement into interrogative. You can transform a statement into interrogative or question as a question. So this is available only in the human language. Whereas in the animal communication, we don't have such a interrogative expressions. They don't know, they will just inform a matter where food is available. And if a stranger comes, it will bark like anything. If a owner of the dog comes, he will be barking like anything. Other way. So these variation will be maintained. Whereas here, we will question, we will find answer. We will answer for a question, we will raise a question. That strategy is being followed in human language. And of course, a single form, another thing which is a single form will be converted into another form. For example, take is a word. that could be converted as taken or took. So same form will be converted. Walk, walked, walking. So this type of conversion process is possible only in the human language. No other language, no other other than human language, no other language, even the what you call the computer language, artificial language, will not have such a features. And similarly, the open-endedness. Open-endedness in the sense that when when I'm questioning you, you will have different answer. You will not. I will not expect only one answer from you. Yeah, nearly 17 students are there. All the people, all 17 students will be answering in a different fashion. So the open-endedness, I cannot anticipate. I cannot expect only one answer for one question. But you will create a number. If you are asking, you are appreciating me that your shirt is so nice, I may give different answer for you. Yes, this shirt is so nice. I could answer. Otherwise, this shirt has been bought from Mumbai. I could answer that. Oh, no, it is a dirty shirt. I could answer. I don't like this shirt. Like this, I will give different answer. This type of open-endedness is attached with human language. And of course, displacement in the sense, an expression which can be used in different contexts, different places. Even what you call imaginative expression I could create. If I were the chief minister of Tamil Nadu, if I say, if I were the prime minister of India, I am not going to be a prime minister, but I could imagine I will produce an expression. These type of expressions are the properties of human language, whereas animal communication does not have these type of things. So this is called designed features, as Hockett labeled it, designed features of human language. These language have to be studied. These features have to be studied by you people, and your teachers will be guiding you to understand, sound understanding over the what you call these components. And this is another one aspect. And people always say that when somebody in the first class itself, people ask you question, what is linguistics? Similarly, people say that it's a scientific study of language. Why it is called a scientific study? Why it is, well, for example, language is being studied by literature student also. And you are also going to study in the name of linguistic science. This is scientific study, whereas that is not scientific study. Why that is not scientific study? Why this is called a scientific study? There may be some reasons. You need to understand and you need to explain the fact that I am studying language scientifically. No other group of people is studying the language scientifically. Yeah, see, the literature people can Hello? Hello? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
You're audible, sir. Please continue, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
The designed feature, it is called as scientific study. I'm going to list out some of the points, some of the arguments which will establish that linguistics is a scientific study. Linguistics is a science. Now, when I'm talking, if you make a comparison between literature students' approach towards language and linguist approach towards the language, see, you people will be going to apply your mind to study the language, whereas the literature people are applying their hearts to study the language. See, their emotion, their involvements, their attachment will be there always whenever they appreciate. When they happen to read Shakespeare's writing, they jump like anything and appreciate that, how wonderfully expressed. but they may not be in a position to tell the reason why it is wonderful. If somebody, some other person who reads the same expression will not have same type of feeling. For somebody, it will be so appealing. For somebody, it won't be appealing. So it is a relative things, relativism. So the literature people always exaggerate. They will always go for colored expression. But linguists are the people, they apply their mind, scientifically look at that, why it is so appealing, why it is not so appealing. What are the devices they employed? What are the elements available in a particular literature which helps to appeal the people, which helps to enjoy the literature? So we are looking at the language scientifically using our own mind. They are applying, they are looking at their language, applying their own heart. See, heart is emotive. Emotional things could be applied, whereas here there is no emotional. That's why people say that the objectivity of our approach is one of the unique properties. The objectivity, we never say that that language is superior, this language is inferior. That language is easy to learn, this language is not easy to learn. That language is so closer to my heart, this language which I hate. So this type of feeling won't be there in the mind of linguist. So the you could look at the language as an object, as a tool, as a device. As a doctor dissects a patient. Okay, he cannot show his own emotion. If he show his emotion, he cannot perform well. Even his father is going to be treated. A doctor will be dissecting as a doctor without caring the other things. If he cares, automatically that we will not perform well like that. We will be dissecting the linguistic elements of language, whether it's a good word or bad word or a beautiful word or ugly word. We don't worry. All words are words. Even taboo words, unparliament words are also words. There is no superior variety or lower variety, or high variety or lower variety. All varieties. All languages are developed language. All languages are pure language. All languages are communicable, readable. All languages are actual languages. So such a way we look at objectivity. There won't be subjectivity. Objectivity will be maintained when we are looking at the language. Therefore, it is called science. See, in a laboratory, if a chemical is there, another chemical is poured upon it, and there will be some chemical transaction, chemical changes will be there. Yeah. Whoever puts it, chemical reaction will be there. Okay, whoever puts it, only I put, it won't happen. Everybody, whoever puts it, the same type of process will be taken. Like that, if you look at the language, if you come along with one understanding, whoever looks at it with their own linguistic eyes, they will have same understanding. Whereas in literature, if I read, I will have a type of pleasure. If somebody reads, he will have another type of pleasure, because they apply their emotion, they apply their feeling, they apply their hearts. Whereas we scientifically do. Therefore, objectivity is one of this. Then empiricalism, empiricalness will be there. And you can verify with the linguistic data available. If I say that in English language, ED will not be ordered with all, we cannot add ED with all verbs. Certain verbs will alone take ED. If I say, you can immediately verify with the data available in the mouth and pen of your own language user. Your English speaker will be using sometimes ED with certain verbs, and sometimes he will not use ED. Instead of nothing will be ordered, put. So such a way you can verify it. So verification is possible. So the empirical evidences are there in the linguistic science. If I come to a hypothesis, if you come to a conclusion that this language works this way, you can verify it immediately. So because it is available in the society. So therefore, the empiricism is possible. Therefore, it is called as science. And another ism, rationalism. Rationalism. That we will apply our mind. We will rationally think. We will apply mind, not heart. Therefore, rationalism is there. Rationalism will be there. Then exhaustiveness. We will cover all aspects of language. We are not concerned with only one sort of elements of language. We will touch upon all the elements of the language. Therefore, the exhaustiveness. So, a science must have exhaustiveness. Science must have rationalism. Science must have empiricalism. A science must have objectivity. And of course, there's consistency. There may be some consistency. And if I say something here, the same thing must be maintained across the entire text. The consistency could be maintained by linguists. Therefore, linguistics is a science. And of course, economy. Economy. So that we will try to minimize the rule. Of course, when we are writing grammar, we will limit ourselves that how if we will be writing limited number of grammars with which you are able to generate infinite number of express. So the economy, so objectivity, empiricalism, rationalism, and consistency, exhaustiveness, and economy. These are all the properties of science. All those properties are available in the linguistics also. Therefore, it is called as science. And moreover, we apply certain scientific methods in the sense observation. We observe the people's behavior. We observe people's language. We observe the linguistic behavior of the people. By observing the people's behavior, we form our own hypothesis. We form our own hypothesis with which we go for experiment. We conduct experiment, we find result, and we verify the result, and finally we generalize the result, and eventually will come for theorization. The ultimate aim is to theorize how this language works, So theorization is possible. Theorization is nothing but establishing a fact or understanding the system of language. The language can be theorized in terms of rules, in terms of what we call grammar. So we are trying to theorize that the Tamil language has got SOV type, English language SVO type. So such a way, the theorization is possible with the help of the linguistics. And therefore, we designate that linguistics is a science. Though you are going to have a MA degree in linguistics, it is a scientific degree because you adapt these type of strategies. All the science triads are applied in humanities or arts subject. We claim that it is a science. So linguistics is a science. So you are a science student because you are not emotive, you are not emotional, rather you are applying your own mind to understand the system of the language. So language is nothing but system of systems. It has got number of systems, number of subsystems. Number of subsystems in the sense, language is made up of, the table is made up of wood or steel. The computer is made up of but some plastic materials and some electronic materials. But similarly, language is made up of sound. Sounds are sequenced as word. Words are sequenced as phrase. Phrases are sequenced as sentences. Sentences are sequenced as paragraph. Paragraphs are sequenced as text, an essay or poetry. So such a way, sound is a basic. Sound is a raw material of language. So we people, by studying the language, how sounds are produced in the name of phonetics, we try to understand how sounds of the air stream mechanism works here, What are all the speech organs of speech? What are all the manner of organs? Manner of speech. All these are what is the role of tongue? What is the role of lips? What is the role of teeth? All those things will be studied. From where, how aggressive ST mechanism works, how inclusive ST mechanism, how oral cavity works, how nasal cavity works. So all those things could be studied in terms of the phonology, phonetics, phonemics. So they the phonetic style, different things. I'm not going to touch upon the technical aspect. So you are going to study this aspect of human language. And similarly, how these sounds are presented, given, these sounds are given visual representation, writing system. How a sound is correlated with a symbol, a letter, alphabets. And alphabets has to capture a sound. Different alphabets will sequence different sounds. So how we spell it out, how we write down, all these things will be studied by linguistic science. And how a word is created, how a word is formed. Within a word, how many parts are there? Agreements. If we say agreement, yes, 3 elements are there. So how words are created and how different words are combined. See, first of all, how sounds are produced and how sounds are encoded using symbol, and how words are coined, created, formed, how words are formed, what are all the components of the word, and how 2 different words are combined, what are all the changes taking place when 2 things are joined. Shankar, am I audible? Hello?
Sir, audible, sir.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Please go ahead, sir.
I don't know what's the reason. What's the reason behind it? Always, I've got a lot of interruption. Okay. How words are combined, 2 different words are combined. When 2 words are combined, what type of changes is taking place in the first word, at the end of the first word, and beginning of the second word. These type of things could be studied. And how a sentence is formed, how different phrases are linked, making a link, and we'll have a chain of links, and thereby we'll create a sentence. How the sentence is framed, and how this sentence is transformed into another sentence, how the statement is transferred into interrogative, how a positive sentence is transformed into a negative sentence. So this transformation could also be studied, and how a paragraph has to be arranged, how what would be the beginning, what would be the link, how we could maintain the link between across different sentences, how the coherence and cohesive feature could be maintained. All those things could be studied by things. And then how language is changed over the period, over the different places, by different domains. So a language is not used as it is in all places. Okay, in some places, some 200 years back, our ancestors have used Tamil language or any other language. They have used one fashion. Now we have modified. Why these type of changes take place? What is a system in it? That's why I'm telling you that system of systems. We try to capture system of system. Different systems are there. So how the words are changed, how language is getting changed over the period, across the period, that could be studied. And then how we process the language in our mind, how we store our language in our mind. So all these things could be studied. How the commonness could be established. What are the universal properties of the language? All these things could be studied. And how language could be taught. How language could be learned. So all these, how language could be programmed for computer. How to imbibe the human language in the brain of the computer, NLP processing. So all these things could be studied by you people. You are going to study all these elements. By studying all those things, you will have different understanding. You will have different knowledge, different skills. You will be so critical. Once you are able to get this course, after when you are successfully completing this course, you will be in a position to have critical thinking, higher order thinking, and analytical skill you could develop. You will have analytical skill and deep concentration over any matter, and you will keep your eyes in for all details, for anything, not only the language, anything you look at it, you will ask for all details. You will keep your eye on different details of a particular object which you are looking at. So such a skill you could develop. And then languaging skill in the sense, by using language, you will have thinking power, the higher order thinking power, and with which you will imagine different things. You will go for creativity. You will come along with some creative, innovative expression, and that creativity will help you to go for writing creative literatures. And above all, you can be a good communicator. Good communicator in the sense, good writer, good speaker, good listener, good reader. So an excellent reader, you can be a good reader. Now, since you are working on language, whatever, you are not going to work on only one language. We are going to work on different languages. Therefore, you'll have the common features. You'll have the unique properties of every language. Every language has got unique property that could be easily acquired by you people by studying linguistic science. And you will have sound knowledge over the language, and you can be an effective speaker, effective communicator, and even you will be in a position to introspect your own linguistic problems. If you find fault with your own behavior, you will easily repair your own expressions. And you can also keep your eye on others' speech, and you will understand their problem, and you will help them to repair their problem. So the corrective mechanism you will be adapting. All these things are possible. Like the driver and mechanic. If you are a driver, you can drive a car very well. If you are language user, you can use the language usually. But if if a driver knows the mechanism of the car, if he can repair his car, he can maintain the car without any trouble. Similarly, you can be a linguist and you can be a good speaker. At the same time, you will repair your own problems, language problem, and you will also repair others' problem. And you can be a best teacher, language teacher, understanding what are all the problem area people will encounter. And you will have different understanding over the language components. And of course, there are some domains where you can survive. That is very important. Modern days, after acquiring linguistic science, what you are going to do? You will find a lot of opportunities across the globe. You can work as an academician like me, like other faculty members. You can be an academician that you can teach linguistics and do linguistics, doing linguistics, work on linguistics, and do linguistics. Then you can be a computer linguist. You can, because language, computer has got artificial language. but you are working on natural language. Somehow the computer has to read, a computer has to communicate with natural language. For this, the NLP, natural language processing strategy, has to be followed. So you can work on computer, as you can work as a computer linguist. You can generate software, different software, and language educator. It's quite popular. You can be a best teacher, language teacher, because because the language teachers, some business is to teach language, but you are fully aware of the inner side of language. You know what is the component, how the language functions, how the language works. So you are able to use, transform this knowledge to the younger generation as a language teacher. So you can be a language teacher. At the same time, you can prepare teaching learning material. You can design curriculum. You can design curriculum or syllabus. Written purpose. So all those therapists, linguistically disordered people, people can be trained by you people. After getting linguistic training, you will be able to train the people who have got linguistic disorders, language problem. They could then you can be a dictionary maker. You're referring to the dictionary. You can compile a dictionary using the linguistic science knowledge, the knowledge you are going to gain from this department. And similarly, what you call medical transcription. So modern days, somebody will be telling, so you have to record using the universally accepted international phonetic symbol. So I'm using those one, you will be able to write down phonetic transcription, and then language documentation. Modern days languages are perishing. Languages are at the threat of endangerment. So you will be in a position to describe the language, write the grammar, and you could record, document using the electronic devices or traditional devices. And then even you can go for the legal method as a forensic linguistic paper. So you will be able to do even some translators. You can be a translator. You can translate others' writing. You can be a critic of literatures, and all those things. Different and the jobs, different opportunities are there, and even different what you call technical terms creations for government, or for even for government, you could go for translating certain text, legal text, or police case text could be translated into English. And using this one, you will enjoy a lot of benefit. And of course, the different institutions are inviting you, are going to invite you people. One important thing is what they call academic institute. University, all the universities will avail your service. As a linguist, after getting linguistic knowledge, you can survive in academic institutions, and you can also survive resource person in Central Institute of Indian Languages, Mysore. It is located there in Mysore, CIIL, Central Institute of Indian Languages. There you will find a room to make money or to enjoy your social life. So, and SRLC, Southern Regional Language Center, it is also available in Mysore. You can find place there. And similarly, Linguistic Survey of India, Calcutta, where you could survive. You can find job there. And similarly, International Institute of Tamil Studies in Chennai itself, we find International Institute of Tamil Studies. And Tribal Research Center at Ooty, you find some job opportunities. And similarly, all the media people, newspaper people will invite you. If you have very good stuff over the language, and linguistic component or translation work or use of good language, you will be placed as a editor or news writer, featured story writer, such a way you could do. Then translation department, they will be availing your service, and Anthropological Survey of India, that will also avail your service, and certain Christian missionaries. Christian missionaries are badly need of linguists to describe tribal language, to translate the Old Testament into tribal languages. The Bible could be translated into the regional languages. For that purpose, your service is very much essential. And of course, Classical Tamil Institute, Classical Tamil Institute located in Chennai, that will also welcome you and consider your knowledge over the linguistic science. And then Director of Adult Education Department will also avail these services. And our students are available in different places. Apart from Indian contact, foreign universities will be looking for only linguists. If a literature student is attending an interview, similarly a linguist is also attending an interview, the linguist will be prepared first, because the linguist knowledge is very much essential in foreign countries. In foreign countries, the linguists are able to teach language very well, comparing with the literature students. The literature people are able to use only the literature language. They are not aware of the socio-linguistic variation. They are not aware of the dialectical variation. They are not aware of the intricacies of language. They are aware of the beautified language, that's all. Whereas you people are going to understand all the intricacies of language. Therefore, you know in and around of English language, the inner and outer side of the language. So you may be in a position to teach language effectively. So a very dazzling future is ahead, is waiting for you. After getting this MA Linguistics, you will be observed in different institutions, and you will make money out of your linguistic science. And therefore, I request you all people, love the subject. Love the subject, dedicate yourself to the field of linguistic science, and the teachers are very much ready to help you to enrich your mental horizon in the field of linguistic science. I believe that you will be coming up with flying colors in the field of linguistic science, and you will have a sense of satisfaction by attending the classes, by being in the Department of Linguistics. I hope that this department is offering a choice-based credit system, and of course you can choose certain subjects from outside department also. Our teacher will be explaining all those things. So you got a rich research experience, and you will partake different allocation, different symposium, different seminar, conferences being arranged by the Department of Linguistics. Thereby, you will broaden your mental horizon, and you will understand different ideas over the linguistic science, and you will have good knowledge over the linguistic science, with which you can survive independently. A self-confidence can be created with the help of this department. I request you all people to love the subject and love the department, dedicate yourself, and spend your all of working hours for enriching your knowledge on the linguistic science. The linguistic science will comfort you, will place you in the upper rungs of the social ladder. With this, what do you call, wishes, I wish you great success in your academic endeavor, and Godspeed. God be with you always, and come up with flying colors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. And
thank you, sir.
It
was a wonderful lecture, sir, as usual. We are very much interested in listening to your lecture. You're always blessed in having your lecture, sir. And students, you see, he's a very respectable person. Our Professor Muthukrishnan, sir, whom we always admire for his knowledge in the subject and the way he uses the language. We have a very friendly relationship with him, and he is always very much friendly with everyone, including the students. And actually, I have to say that we are very much lucky that we have served under your leadership, sir.
Thank you.
And today, you people got an intro about the campus, the department, and what are the opportunities you have when you become a linguist, and what are the institutions which are working in linguistics, and the places where it is, and everything else he has explained to you. And you are all blessed to have a senior linguist like him to give you a knowledge about the linguistics. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us, sir. Sir, thank you very much for enlightening us, sir, as well as the freshers, sir. Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Thank you. I formally express my heartfelt thanks to all the people, especially Professor Subramaniam, Professor Sundar Balu, Professor Ramesh, Professor Vijayan. I sincerely thank Dr. Shankar Ganesh for having introduced me to this new audience. And similarly, I thank Professor Vijayan for proposing a vote of thanks, thanking me. I sincerely thank you people, and you people also grow well along with the student community and reach the pinnacle of success in your professional and social life. Thank you very much. Once again, I thank each and everyone. And similarly, I thank the 17 young minds who were very passionate. I'm communicable. I was communicable to these people. I don't understand that. I have peripherally touched upon the elementary aspects of the language. It was my intention to introduce the subject without using jargons. Just said that what are all you're going to study in the course of linguistic science, and with which I hope that you will develop certain knowledge, and with those knowledge you can survive in different institutions. That's what this is the thing we have enjoyed. As an experienced man, I enjoyed a lot of benefit out of linguistic science. I loved the subject. Similarly, you try to love the subject. With these things, once again thank all the people who are all on this platform and the department people. Sincerely thank all the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.